What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Monday, January 13th. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag Big Monday show. College football national championship tonight. We're going to have Teddy Covers joining us in 22 minutes to break down the NBA card as well as the national championship card. We had a huge day in NBA on Friday, 6-1 in NBA. Great work here with the cappers in the chat, Teddy Covers and myself, all coming together as one. And we have big news. We just hit 60,000 subscribers to our YouTube page, and we want to give a big thank you to all of you guys who have supported us over the years. We are excited about hitting that number, and we can't do any of this without you guys rolling with us. Much love to you. Happy Monday. All the people going back to work, disinterested and pissed off. Not us, baby. Not us. Conference finals coming up in NFL football national championship tonight. 5 NHL games, 7 NBA games. Doesn't get much better than this. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Nilo in the house. Nilo ready to get to work. Nilo, I had the pleasure of hanging out with in Toronto. Coy, our guy Coy is more says, I wanted to stop by the chat. Give a strong lean to Clemson plus it's a 5.5 points. Their defense can and will get stops. I don't think LSU can stop Clemson's balanced attack. Close game. LSU wins. I did make the move on 5.5. I saw 4.5 at Heritage and I panicked this morning. I was hoping to wait and maybe get a 6 for official plays here on the show. I got 6.5 at Bovada, but I bet it at 5.5. Coy's also saying college hoops Wednesday undefeated. Auburn goes to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. If that spread at 6 or higher, take Bama. I think Bama matches up well with how Auburn likes to play. Shout out to our guy Coy is more. Zombie Pie in the house. AM plus money. Mark Unkefer. No request. Cobra Sports 609. There's Matt Randall. Matt Randall says the taint starting to heat back up. Let's crush today. Rye Cape House. Derek Link. Jordan Nordman says, what up, all? First time poster. Been listening for a bit. Great work, Jordan Nordman. We got Jordan Nordman in the house. Much love to you, Jordan. The team increases. We get stronger, because that's how we defeat the Juice, by working together. Jordan Nordman, much love to you, my man. Smart Money, Deer Slayer Ski, Heart in Hand. Jimmy Go, Heart in Hand, 14-1 weekend in NBA. Oh, my God. Man. Kevin Pine said, Clemson, biggest bet of my life. This determines the rest of my gambling career. Kevin Pine going in huge. Jeez. We've all been in situations like this. I'm going to copy and paste it. We've all been in situations like this, Kevin. It scares me that you are in it. It's not a comfortable place to be in. But I'm going to be cheering for you like crazy, my friend. Serious Business, Ty Clinton, Mitch Bruner, and now it's Gabriel Hernandez, Tony S. Glenell Patterson also saying Clemson Sportsman of the Year. Lucky Lefty, 1 for the money, 2 for the show in the house. Nutflush Allen says, what a hat. This was a gift from our guy and yours, Nutflush Allen. The Allen family, whom we love dearly. Tony S. says 6.5 has been off the market for weeks. No, it hasn't. And you could bet it right this very second at Bovada. And we've talked about it for weeks, in fact, how Bovada has not been afraid and has been hanging that 6.5 nonstop. And there it is at Bovada right now. 6.5 right now at Bovada, Tony S. It has been on the market for weeks. Astute Chaos, Silver Malco, Prince of the City. And America, Alex Seaman, Kanaska. Tomorino Tomor says Clemson's defensive line got no pressure on field. Couldn't stop Dobbins. I don't see them holding up against LSU. I'm on LSU, says Tomorino Tomor. That's Nate need a bounce back week. Let's put that all together. Tomorino said I saw a 6.5 last night. Glenell Patterson says thank me later. Noli No says Jimmy, how about them Niners? The only issue is that I'm just not going to make enough money off of it. I have 300 on them to win the NFC. Yeah, it's I'm very thankful the Ravens got eliminated. I had no futures on them, but I don't know why in the preseason I was such a pussy. I only put $100 on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl plus 800. $100 on the Chiefs to win the NFC plus 375. So, I mean, I've got the two big favorites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for middles with small bets. Like 150, 175 on both the Titans and both the Titans and the Packers plus the points to go for middles. I'm going to put a little bit more on the Niners to just a little bit, like maybe $150 or $200. I'm going to make these decisions today on the Niners to win the Super Bowl, just a little bit. And then when the Chiefs play the Niners in the Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs will be favorites. We don't know how much. Let's say 2.5, and then I'll go probably for another middle. That's how I plan things. Omega Capper says Burrow under 365 yards. I've been waiting for my book to open that up. I've been waiting for my book to open up that because Flash has been saying that to us for a week and a half, and is it up yet? Finally up? No, it still don't have it up. So I am waiting very patiently for my book to open up that Burrow prop, and I'll go under it. I'll go under. There's Rod Zawacki, and that's Ray Kimbrell saying Clemson money line. Ooh. Garrett Kerr says LSU can blow them out. Clemson needs a close game for a chance. Christopher Comity says hoping LSU goes up so I can live bet Clemson. There's Damian McCorriston in the house. Trot Wham ready to get to work. Ben Sports 24/7 has Jackson State Southern under 133. All right, we got to get into NHL right away. And there's Trot Wham saying bang, bang, Niner gang. One thing, big thing there, Slats 45 is we are in talks about changing the showtime. We're in talks about changing the showtime to a later time, a later slot. And it's between 3 spots right now, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock Eastern. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Eastern. So if you guys have any feeling on that, let me know. Let me know. All right, let's get to work in NHL. And yesterday, or Friday, I should say, I lost on that over 5.5. And now we are at the worst mark we've been all season long in NHL. Rafa, could you pop up the NHL record? This is extremely disappointing for me, man. This is my bread and butter, and I'm just, I'm angry. No getting around it. I am angry. Let's get to work. The money in the house. Let's get to work right now. We're going to start with Flames Canadians. Let's go to the best odds page on the planet, sportsbookreview.com, where I'm still staring at that 6.5 at Bovada. If you guys want Clemson, open up an account at Bovada right away. And if you want to help out the show, hit the link at the bottom of the page. Hit the link. That link takes you to our best sportsbook page. And SBR is monitoring whether I can get people to hit that link. So if you could hit that link for me, that would mean a lot. All right. AM Plus Money, who gives us plays of the day weekly here at Betting with the Bags, is Israel Premier League, Maccabi Tel Aviv moneyline minus 130. Christopher Comtine says, I love the morning show. Well, you guys, let me know. Let's talk. Let's talk what you guys think about that. There's Repula Gaming in the house. All right, let's get to work. Dana Delp says 3 p.m., but love the morning show. Thank you for letting us know, Dana Delp, because we are making a decision very soon. Matt Reynolds' morning show is the greatest for numerous reasons. Miss J says, Jimmy, I start work at 4. Please reconsider. Miss J, we love you dearly, so I want you here watching the show. All right, let's get to work. We're going to move to money lines and totals here. I've already made 2 bets on this small NHL card consisting of 5 games. Carolina, Washington, that's the first game on the docket. Washington opening up at minus 136, now minus 134. This total was previously juiced to the under. It's now juiced to the over. Hurricanes coming off back-to-back shutouts. Hurricanes not scoring a lot of goals. Not scoring a lot of goals. Thank you, Repula Gaming, my friend. Jarmel Price, Jordan Smith. I love these guys. Josh CT in the house. And Damien says, love the way it is. Okay, well, you know, I need to hear from you guys. There's Tata Booker in the house. Always puts a smile on my face. Tata Booker rolling with dust. Rod Zawacki says Flames money line here. Did I say Flames Canadians and give you guys the Capitals Hurricanes odds? I think I did. But let's keep with Hurricanes Capitals. Then we'll go into that Flames Canadian spot. Here we go. Mrazek versus Holtby is what I'm expecting. This Hurricanes team and the Capitals team. So you'll notice these teams that are succeeding in the NHL have strong penalty killing and a strong power play. And these teams are no different. Hurricanes 22.5% power play and penalty killing at 82.4%. Capitals have the same 82.4% penalty killing. Capitals 18.7% power play. That's gone down. And as their power play has started slipping, their wins have started slipping as they've lost 2 in a row. This is the last time these teams will meet this year until a possible meeting in the playoffs. Remember, they met last year in the playoffs, 4-2 Hurricanes victory. Remember, these Capitals are 13-5-4 at home. They've won just 13 of 22 home games. Not very good. Tom Marino says, I'd lean Capitals off 2 losses. They will be up for this game. I don't see much value at this line. And there's George Wood in the house. Heart and Hand says prefer the morning show. Nick Allegretti says morning show is where it's at. And says plus we can break down afternoon games. So okay, you know this. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this. And Mr. Goxer says seeing Samsonov starting. Thank you for letting us know there, Mr. Goxer, the pride of Belleville, Ontario. Carolina won 3-2 in overtime on October 5th. right at the beginning of the year. They split the last two meetings. The Canes have won three straight, but back-to-back shutouts. Last one Saturday, 2-0 at home over the Kings. Canes have won 5 of their last 7. Capitals are coming off one of their worst performances. 5-1 loss to the Devils. They looked bad. It was at home on Saturday night. Veranda got their only goal. 1 for 5 on the power play. As I said, they've not been succeeding on the power play. And all this said, I do not want to back the Capitals now, expecting them to be angry, because they've had a prolonged period of disappointing hockey. And is that going to turn around playing the Hurricanes? Possibly. Hurricanes coming up back-to-back shutouts, playing very well. Nilo says Mrazek is likely. Samsonov is confirmed. There's my guy D. Summers in the house. Brian Watson says like this time. All right, a lot of people coming in saying liking this time. Claudio S. says Holtby has been having a terrible year. I don't know if he has been. 899 save percentage means not good. But I didn't expect him to have a 910 save percentage. I hear that. There's Daryl Lyons. And George Woods and Samsonov, a pretty good goalie. There's no doubt about it. But still, I don't know if I trust the Capitals here. The Hurricanes are playing very well right now. And I have not made a move on this. I do see that 6.5 and think that this is going to be a playoff-type hockey game. I've had no success with these under 6.5s with the Capitals of late. I had a ton of success earlier in the year. What maybe if they would give me a under 1.5 first period at a big plus line, I guess that would be appealing. Let's see what they're doing right now. I'm going to go over the first period, and I'm getting the under 1.5 at plus 120. Under 1.5 at plus 120 for the first period. AM says Coactus can't join for morning's needs afternoon back. Give our love to Coactus AM plus money. We love her dearly. I guess I have some interest in that first period under 1.5. Tormio saying Capitals offense having issues scoring. The better value has been with them on the road. I'd lean under. Tomor, I'd lean under too. I'm not succeeding with these Capitals unders. I'm just not succeeding. Okay, I do have some interest in that under 6.5. I don't want to double up on the under, but I think that first period under 1.5 at plus money is probably more appealing. Kanasket says, my opinion, show at, say, 2:30. Would give us and you some more time to cap before the show and act on the info afterwards before the game start in the evening. Mr. Gokster says, I'd look over. And Al Hard loving this time. Thank you guys for letting us know. Matt Randall saying loving this time as well. Okay, let's keep rolling. There may be a move made on it. Let's keep rolling, though. Let's move on to that Flames-Canadiens rematch of the 86 and 89 Stanley Cup Finals. Calgary total opening up at 6. It was at minus 116 and it's now at minus 113. Montreal opened up as a lukewarm favorite. Now the Flames are lukewarm favorites. Talbot looks like he's taken over that number 1 starting spot from Riddick. 5-7-0 on the year, 917 save percentage. But in the last 4 games, he's 4-0 with a 940 save percentage. All 4 of those games are in 2020. Flames have won 5 straight, undefeated in 2020. But they've won each game by 1 goal. And I don't trust this hockey team. Lindholm had 2 goals. Johnny Hockey, goal and an assist when they beat Edmonton 4-3 on Saturday night. You know, I liked seeing Cassian feed Tkachuk. I like Tkachuk better than Cassian, but when I see Cassian playing tough and scoring goals, I wish he was still wearing a Canucks uniform, even if he does look like the star of Dumb and Dumber. I still prefer him. I still think that toughness is so important. And that McDavid can walk around a little bit more comfortable. Whereas we got guys like Besser and Pedersen who have to look over their shoulder all the time because they have nobody to protect them. And Jin Rummy says Titans win the Super Bowl. Well, that would be good for our friend Al Mack. Claudio says, what's all your records, Jimmy? I drop my record before each and every sport. I have not at this point put them all together. Claudio S. But I'll show my record before we talk about each sport, as the one thing that we pride ourselves on is honesty and transparency, Claudio S. Okay, Tormino says this is the part of the season where it's a big advantage to have young legs. I'm not surprised Calgary's winning, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them either. Jimmy Gomez leaning to the Canadians. George Wood saying Gallagher is out. Flames have won 3 straight on the road, 8-1-1 over their last 10 on the road. Flames have lost 4 straight to the Habs. Who cares if they've got Claudio S. says don't trust Montreal. I certainly don't trust Montreal. I mean, Montreal just stopped an 8-game losing streak. They've been playing without their key forwards. They did get Gallagher back, but we're being told right now by our guy George Wood that Gallagher is out. Mr. Gomez says the Habs looked much better last game. Who'd they beat? I mean, yeah, right. Okay, they look good in the 2-1 overtime win at Ottawa. Come on, it's Ottawa. Price made 41 saves. Ottawa got 41 shots on them. Kovalchuk scored his first goal. Who cares? I track I track Max's college basketball record, and he tracks his Twitter record. So that's all tracked. That's all tracked. I did fall up behind over the holidays, and I've almost got back up. As you see, the amount of quantity of plays Max does. I put in like a couple hours a day, and I'm still almost caught up. Canadians 0-4-1 skid last 5. I don't like any of these hockey teams. The Canadians got the monkey off their back with that win. Is that enough to get them rolling? I don't think so. But I don't trust the Flame squad. I do not want the Flames as a lukewarm favorite. If I had to make a pick, sure, I would take the Flames. But I don't have to make a pick. And I'm not making a pick. Here we go. I'm on the under 6 in Islanders, Rangers. And Princess City says, I love the hospital is by a Starbucks. Lots of nurses. Not all nurses are hot, but I respect that. Jimmy Stain in the house. Jimmy Stain like in the over 69.5 in the NCAA championship this evening, and a lot of football talk, which is very exciting. Mr. Ghost says, Sense of being a great home team. It was a good spot. They should have won. They did. Weber played like the leader he is. I'm off the game over, if anything. I feel you, Ghoster. I feel you. All right, I'm hoping that Shesterkin is going to be in the lineup for the Rangers. That was part of the reason why I took the under 6. Let's see what's happened right now and if there's been any movement there. The under 6 opened at minus 107. It's now at minus 117. At Pinnacle, a 10-cent move towards that. Islanders opening up at minus 123. That's where they stand right now. I'm expecting Varlamov and Shesty. Islanders, speaking of the reason why the Canadians are so bad, 77.9% penalty kill. That's going to destroy you in today's NHL. Rod Zawacki says Islanders win 3-1. I would like that. I'm on the under 6 here. Since the Islanders' 17-game point streak, they've been an average team, a 500 team, 11-9-2. They're allowing 2.56 goals a game. That number keeps creeping up. And Sheshi is in. Okay, beautiful. Is that right, Mr. Ghoster? Is he in? Mr. Jimmy Gomez has the Islanders tonight. Damien says Rangers games have been going over. They have been. This is a rivalry type situation where the Islanders aren't playing good hockey. They're coming off a 3-2 overtime loss at in Brooklyn. They're playing in Brooklyn, and Bergeron scored that winner with 93 seconds into overtime. Rangers coming off 5-2 loss at St. Louis Saturday night, but they won 4-3 at home. Panarin is playing very, very good hockey. The Islanders lost twice to the Rangers last season, but they're 13-3 over their last 16 games. And Rod Zawacki says, Igor confirmed. Beautiful. I can't wait to see how he handles this first opportunity of this rivalry. Roman Peddle coming with his action. Blues minus 1.5, Flames money line, Boston money line, and then Celtics minus 10, and Bethune-Cookman. Oh, beautiful stuff. Going to copy and paste that right now. Thank you for sharing that. What's the most amount of units you have ever put on a game? It wasn't an individual game, Jimmy, but I had with futures. It was more than a swing. It would have been about let's say a $16,000 swing had Kunitz not scored that winner in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Ottawa Senators. I put myself in a very bad situation, and I started making more future bets on Pittsburgh, and I had lost a lot of the future bets, and I needed the Penguins very, very badly. So it was a huge swing, and that was probably the most uncomfortable. I was a comic for 17 years, and the big years I had were like 03 to 05 in film and television, and I just wasn't making enough money to be making $20,000 and $25,000 bets. So that was probably the biggest spot that I've had before. I have lost $10,000 in a weekend before on again, like being in a future situation and sort of hedging and then putting myself in a terrible situation. But I don't want to get into that. I'm going to keep focusing. But Jimmy Stain, great having you in the chat. Oh, and the Taint play today is in. Grambling State, Alcorn State. Let's get that in right now. And let's see what Gin Rummy's looks are. Gin Rummy is on the Hurricanes plus 125. Habs plus 100. That's Gin Rummy's action here. Good looking action for Gin Rummy. There you go. I'm on the Blues minus 1.5. Have we got to that game yet? We have 3 minutes before Teddy Covers will be joining us. Let's get there as fast as possible. I've already done the under 6 there. We have Bruins Flyers. We've talked about Hurricanes, Capitals. So let's get into this Bruins Flyers, and then we'll talk about that final game on the card. Bruins Flyers. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. Boston, Philadelphia. Boston opening up at -130, now -131. This total sitting at 5.5. Josh CT says morning show is my favorite. And America, absolutely. I was up early capping these NHL and NBA games. Sorry, so I have not checked my messages, but I will. My friend, here we go. Bruins 27.7% power play, 83.8% penalty killing. Bruins playing good hockey. They finally broke that streak of losing overtime and shootout games, and they needed it. That was against the Islanders on Saturday night. They have scored a power play goal in 13 straight games, and their penalty killing is 83.8. That's what makes a great hockey team. Flyers, 3-2 win over the Capitals on Wednesday night, and then lost 1-0 to the Lightning on Saturday night. They killed off all 4 penalties against the Capitals. They've killed off 12 in a row right now. They're 0 for 11 with the man advantage, though 2 for 19 in their last 7. And that's Ghost is out of the lineup. Ghost is bare, knee surgery, Justin Braun, groin injury. You know, those Flyers injuries are an issue. They're an issue on the back end. And I think the Bruins are going to keep rolling, knowing that the Lightning are right behind them. But do you want a -130 road favorite? And the fact is, I don't. I just don't. Rod Zwacky on Boston moneyline. Roman Pedal on Boston moneyline. Mr. Ghost says Boston power play is unreal. I would like to back Boston, but those -130s road favorites are just not going to help you find success betting in the NHL. But let's move to Blues -1.5. What I read from the Ducks quotes, and a coach whom I despise in Anaheim, is that they're kind of tuning them out. They're tuning them out. They're 1-5-1 over their last 7. They're 11-21 over and 5 over the last 37. They start a 5-game road trip with a 4-2 loss in Chicago. They now don't have Silverberg. He's missed last weekend with an upper body injury. They sent Troy Terry to San Diego of the AHL. They lose Max Jones after getting hit by a puck. I think this is the kind of spot where we put our foot on the throat of the Anaheim Ducks, and that's what I'm doing. These Blues have won 8 straight at home. They're 11-2-1 over the last 14. They're playing great hockey. Perron, 8 goals, 8 assists in his last 16 games. They're doing this without Colton Parayko. I am on the Blues -1.5, and I got +120 there. Jimmy Gomez also on the Blues -1.5. Blues -1.5. Reputable Gaming says the away team 7-0 last 7 against each other between the Blues and Ducks. Tread with caution. I think the Ducks are falling apart here. That's my thought process, is that this Ducks team is not listening to Eakin, and they would be happy that he gets canned. And I want to put my foot on the throat of the Ducks as well. Deer Slayer Ski Drive safe, my friend. Blues -1.5 and the under 6 in that Rangers-Islanders game. And then I do have some... It just feels like the Capitals have been starting slow, and the Capitals are going to take this game extremely serious against the Hurricanes. I'm not going to take these under 6.5s with them anymore because they've not been succeeding, especially when the Capitals are down. So if I was going to do anything with that Caps-Hurricanes game, first period under 1.5 at +120. But I don't think I'm going to do that at this point. Rod Zwack says Boston regulation +115. Ditch that juice. Only reason why I took Boston money line is because Boston has played more overtime games than any other team this year. Jamal says this is a rivalry game that this rookie will be in over his head. Oh man, Shesty with this guy plays 6 years in the KHL and is the best goalie there. Comes over to Hartford, has a 1.92 goals against average and 935 save percent. This is not a 20-year-old rookie coming in. This is a 24-year-old seasoned pro, Jamal. So I hear what you're saying, but this guy, did you see what happened when the Avalanche put 2 quick goals on him in his first ever NHL start? He dug in and was spectacular. Let one more goal in for the rest of the game, and the Rangers won 5-3. I do not think this kid, this kid, 24 years old, I do not think this man will have any fear. I think this could be his coming out party. And I know that our Dom Ricci is backing these New York Rangers. All right, there we go. Only 2 looks. I made them earlier this morning. I tweeted them out, and you can follow me at Jimmy the Bag if you want that to get the action before I get to the show. That's what it is. Let's bring in our guy, Teddy Covers, on a giant Monday with the national championship on the horizon in college football. Teddy Covers, how are you doing on this Monday, my friend? Sorry, I can't. Are we muted? Maybe that's it. Okay. Teddy Covers, let's try that again. How you doing, my friend? Okay, we don't have any volume here, so Teddy's going to get it. I'll wait till you guys give me a thumbs up. Let's get into NBA right now. Teddy and I coming off a giant Friday. I went 6-1 and felt very good. There's Trick Live TV saying Clemson wins. There is Tilo in the house. And the Sweaty Butcher says Slaughterhouse on a 7-0 streak in NBA. Shout out to the Sweaty Butcher. And Mr. Ghost says Chef She's buddy, a brick wall. Watch him in Belleville. His poise is next to none. I agree with that. So I'll be waiting to get the thumbs up from Rafa. While we are waiting, let's get into this NBA card. Rafa, when you get a chance, can you throw up the NBA action? Can you put up my record? Excuse me, NBA records. There are a lot of things going on. Prince of the City says, "Do you want my tennis links here or on Twitter?" Prince of the City, when we get that big Aussie Open coming up, what we need is you live on the show. That's what I'm going to need. But for now, whatever works for you, Prince of the City. Whatever works from you. Okay, we're going to get Teddy's audio working right now. Let's get after it. We're going to start with Pelicans. Pistons. We're over here at spreads and totals on the SBR odds page, and just waiting on the thumbs up. So I'm just going to keep rolling. Okay, here we go. Pistons open up at -1, which is where they stand now. They're -1 at +102. So there's been a 5-cent move towards the Detroit Pistons. This total opened up at 227.5. It is now down to 226.5. All right, I'm going to copy and paste Tomor. Nice to have Tomor back in our chat. We've missed him dearly. And Jay Stone says morning show rules all. Okay, I find it very interesting because we had a lot of people liking the afternoon show more. Numbers-wise, we will do better numbers the later we go on the show. Later we do throughout the day, just sort of how it works. So if the closer you can get to around noon Pacific time is when you can get the best sort of numbers. But if you guys want the morning show, if you guys keep chiming in about the morning show, then you'll get, I'll hook you guys up with that. This show is all about you guys. Cash Action Bets says Pistons. Let's talk about this spot right now. Pistons 21st in the NBA in pace over their last 5. Drummond has got to man up. He's got throwing the ball at the back of, what was the dude's name? Gafford, throwing at Danny Gafford's head. I mean, that was just ridiculous. Drummond has got to be the bigger man. He's got to show maturity. Then he gets kicked out in that 108-99 loss to the Bulls on Saturday night. The Bulls were on the second half of a back-to-back, and Casey just lost his shit over Drummond being such a bitch. Drummond, you're a giant. Start being a bully. And bully isn't just physical, it's also mental. Don't let these kids get in your head. Pelicans pace last 5, 6th in the NBA. Pelicans are beat up. No Drew Holiday with an elbow injury, no Derek Favors with a hamstring injury, and no JJ Redick also with a hamstring injury. And those guys are all sitting here questionable for Monday's game. And Michael MacArthur saying morning show as well. All right, you guys, I'm definitely... and Von Polo said, I wish the show came on Saturdays. Now I have to choose a different time. Von Polo and Terrell Miller also saying Monday morning show. Okay, interesting. And SoCal Reseller says not enough time to cover everything in the afternoon show. And Eric Nisbet says, Jimmy, it's hard to find the show anymore. I haven't been able to check in weeks. Eric Nisbet, I'm sorry to hear that. And Claudio S. saying Georgiev starting for the Rangers now. That scares me. Wow, Claudio, is that facts? I'd rather him than King Henrik. But that does worry me. All right, so Pelicans coming off that 140-105 smashing against Boston. Do we know if any of these guys are going to be back in the lineup? Because if they're not, then it seems like this could be a Pistons bounce-back spot. And Christopher Comentini says, please, morning show, please. I love you, Christopher Comentini. D Money saying morning show. Rod's whack. Okay, look, BT, you guys are coming in. Okay, I'm listening. All right. I won't make a move right now. All right, so Holiday could be back. Do any of you guys know if any of these guys will be back in the lineup? But without them, Brandon Ingram can get double-teamed. He can get locked down defensively. We saw that against the Celtics. He went just 4 for 15 from the field and committed 5 turnovers. Pelicans have won 5 straight versus teams with losing records. Pistons coming off their second straight home loss to bad teams in Chicago and Cleveland. D. Rose is the only guy stepping up. And Sekou, Sekou looks okay off the bench. They got Svai coming in off the bench, Bruce Brown coming in off the bench. This team has no scoring. Oh, look at Nasty Nate. There's my guy. If the show came on at midnight, I'll watch. Respect. And Rod Zwack says, yes, my bad, Gorgie in net. Wow, thank you for letting us know that. You know what? I'll take him. I just don't want King Henrik in net. I just don't want King Henrik in it. That's about it for me. Pelicans, Pistons. We need no. I mean, if you suspect some of these guys are going to be in the lineup, then sure, make a move on the Pelicans. If you don't think they're going to be in the lineup, I think the Pistons bounce back and have a big game here. And AM says, to be fair, most people prefer the afternoon show. Can't voice their opinions right now because I can't tune in. SBR should do a Twitter poll. I will do a Twitter poll today. I've been saying I was going to do it for a while, and I will do that away. And Bleds W says, we can't take away the morning show, Jim. Much love to you, Bleds W. All right. Okay, let's keep rolling because I'm not going to make a move right now. Cobra says, just make it easy and do both shows again. Hey, it wasn't my call. I'd love to be doing both shows. All right, let's move on to Sixers, Pacers, Philadelphia, Indiana. Indiana opening up at -2. There's been no movement. There's total at 213. There has been no movement. Sixers scoring 109.3 points per game. Their pace last 5, 24th in the NBA. Pacers scoring 109.6 points per game. Their pace last 5, 27th in the NBA. Sixers have lost 5 in a row on the road. They've been bad on the road all year long. 13 losses out of 20 games, coming off 109-91 loss at Dallas on Saturday night. Still no Embiid. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Pacers coming off 116-105 win at Chicago on Friday night. No Sabonis. Not going to have Sabonis in the lineup again tonight. And Miles Turner stepped up in a giant way. Terrell Miller saying Teddy coming in. Yes, we're just working out. He's got some audio issues right now. So as soon as he's ready to go, he will pop in. Josh CT saying I'm fading Detroit. Pelicans got embarrassed on Saturday. Al Hard, I've got 2 spots on NHL. 2 spots only. I'm on the under 6 in the Rangers-Islanders game, and I'm on the Blues -1.5. Hardenhand says, can't move on this till Brogdon and Sabonis ruled out. And Day Junior Smile says, betting 10 units on Packers money line. First Super Bowl is Packers-Chiefs. Wow. Wow. Nasty, Nate. I love it. Cash action bets on the Pacers tonight. God, it feels like Miles Turner is starting to become the bully that we're hoping that he would be. Ski Profit now says Pistons, yuck. I'd love to hear what Ski Profit is doing with this spot here. Tormino says, I'm Boston to win the division, got plus 420. Think there's still value on them to win at -110. Yeah, Tormino, I remember you were talking about that at the beginning of the year. I remember it very, very well. Very, very well. And Ski saying Drew unlikely to play. So Drew unlikely to play in this Sixers-Pacers spot. Man, is Brogdon, let's just take a quick look at Brogdon, because if Brogdon is not in the lineup, I can certainly understand why people would be afraid to back these Pacers. Although the Holiday brothers are playing fine, McConnell is playing fine, and okay, we're still waiting on this, and here we go. Strep throat, questionable. All right, cash action bets liking all of the home teams. And D Summers, we've already got the action from Teddy. He's on Clemson. There's a Schnizzle. Now there's Guru Sports Bets. All right, let's keep rolling along. Let's move on to Bulls, Celtics. Celtics coming off a dominant victory. Tatum stepping up in a monster way. 41 points in that shellacking. Lamont Williams says, I'm out. My max plays in. Lamont, 2-team parlay. Loyola, Maryland plus the points. And max bet Florida A&M -4. Thank you, Lamont Williams, our guy. Thank you very, very much. Copy and paste that right now. Right under Tom Marino's Boston -9.5. So Tom Marino, Tomor thinks this Celtics train keeps on rolling. Let's take a quick look at that. 213 feels a little high to me in that Philadelphia, Indiana game. And with all the injuries in New Orleans, Detroit, that 226.5 feels high. Man, I was here on Friday's show saying, how could they give us a 239 in that Hawks-Wizards game? It went up to 240, and what did they put up, like 206? Sort of feels like that here. James says, Bulls getting killed on the glass without Wendell Carter. They certainly are. Cornette and Gafford have been okay, but there's no doubt about that being true. Cantor coming off a game with 22 points and 19 boards, 72 first-half points by these Celtics. Chicago snapped 6-game losing streak with that win at Detroit. Chicago 1-15 this season against teams with winning records. What a bunch of bumps. Cash action bets also like in Boston. This is a lot of points for Bulls Celtics. A lot of points. Boston opening up at -9.5. Now they're -10s. And Mr. Ghost, you're loving that. I love it. And Dana Dubb says, great play on Friday. Yeah, 6-1 on Friday. I needed it. I needed it very bad. The Felt Bandit saying Celtics way better at home than on the road lately. The Felt Bandit rolling with us right now. And Tom Marino says Philly got an angry Dallas team last game. This is a good spot for them, but I can't back Philly on the road. Bulls, Celtics. It's a lot of points for the Celtics, especially coming off a shellacking 140-105 spot against a Pelicans team that's decimated with injuries. I mean, are they going to be... and the Bulls, too. Even though the Bulls came back after Drummond got hurt, I've been losing on the Bulls full game, but cashing on them first half. Ski Profit says Celtics or pass. I've not made a move on this Bulls Celtics, and I want to get into this. I've not made a move. Ski Profit saying Celtics or pass. Let's move on to Thunder. Timberwolves, the Thunder coming off an absolute embarrassment against a Lakers squad that didn't have LeBron James, didn't have AD, and got crushed by 15 points. And that the score flattered the Thunder. They were down huge in that game. Let's talk about this spot right here. Charlotte opening up at Oklahoma City opening up at -2.5. That's where they stand right now. This total opening up at 219, now 219.5. Corey's Moore says, I like the morning show. I understand later time slate means more numbers. SBR should put. We're not going to. Jamming with J Money's doing so well with that time slot. Time slot. So we want. We don't want to mess with that. And shout out to all the guys on Jamming with J Money doing such a great job. Both teams coming off embarrassing losses. Timberwolves pace last 5-7 in the NBA. Thunder pace last 5-17th in the NBA. Timberwolves coming off 30-point loss, 139-109 at Houston on Saturday night. Largest margin of defeat of the year. They're 5-4 since snapping that 11-game losing streak. Karl Anthony Towns is coming back soon. Do we know if he's coming back now? Cash action bets liking the Timberwolves. There's Trot Wham in the house. Trot Wham will be joining us live on the show to break down the NBA card on Wednesday. Nerlens Noel still out 4 games, being out 4 games with an ankle sprain. And Felt Bandit says 2-hour show, so there's no rush on analysis. They want, you guys know, they like shorter shows here. They want to cut my show for a long time. All right, we are having troubles with the audio from callers, so let's just continue breaking down this card together. Claudio S. saying, is Teddy coming back on? They're working on it. I can see in my peripheral vision that they're working on the audio right now. I'm not sure if it's an issue with our feed or theirs at this point. Trot Wham says, Wham Wednesdays. Man, I could get used to that, Trot Wham. I could get used to that without a doubt. Okay, let's go. Oklahoma City, do we expect them to bounce back here against the T-Wolves? Do we expect Karl Anthony Towns to be in the lineup? I liked everything that Chris Paul was saying after that loss, saying that it wasn't just on the rookies, it was on all of us. Von Polo says, Jimmy, are we going to Atlantic City or are we going to Hard Rock Hotel Oceans Resort? Von Polo, I'd love to know. I'd love to know if we are putting something together. And we are in talks right now, but there's a lot going on down here, especially with the Super Bowl coming up. So the focus is on the Super Bowl right now. But as soon as that's out of the way, we need a low-bag Summit of Champions desperately. Very, very desperately. All right, Thunder, Timberwolves. Timberwolves just 6-11 at home. Thunder 9-10 on the road. Coys Moore says, no, I love Jam. No, man, how's that disrespect? I'm huge fans of all the guys on Jamming with J Money. Huge fans. Okay. Tormino says, Eileen, OKC first quarter. OKC should bounce back early. Joseph Gomez says, Pelicans number moving. I feel like that under is in play. 400 says, Chris Paul actually likes this team. You can tell. I agree. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree that Paul likes being here and playing with these boys. All right, Oklahoma City sitting at -2.5. Do they bounce back? Do the Timberwolves bounce back? You have to think if one of these teams bounce back, it's most likely the Oklahoma City Thunder, who've been playing good basketball before that. All right, we got the thumbs up from our guy in the 1s and 2s, Rafa. Paco Healy saying, you wager poker free roll. We actually haven't heard back. It's the ball's in UWager's court right now, Paco. That's what I've been told. The ball's in UWager's court right now. All right, let's bring in our guy, Teddy Covers, right now. Teddy, my man, welcome to the show. How are you doing on this Monday morning?
I'm doing good, Jimmy. I got no complaints today, and I love the fact that while every other show is let's spend 2.5 hours talking about the national championship game, we're going through the hockey, we're going through the NBA. It's not the only game on the card tonight. And in terms of where the majority of your money's supposed to go, you find weak lines in the national championship game. Go for it. NHL and hoops. That's where the bargains are tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And come on, Teddy, after we smashed that Friday card beautifully, how could we not hammer this one again? I was so excited to get right back at it. I wish that there was not a weekend break because it was tremendous work that we did on that Friday card. I went 6-1. My only loss was on that Trae Young prop, but the Herder prop hit in like 10 minutes. And Trae Young is banged up. The Trae Young... It's a dodgy thing making Trae Young prop bets right now this time of the year because he's certainly banged up. Teddy, let's talk NBA right now. And we got to be quick because we do want to talk about the national championship. But after what our performance on Friday, let's roll here. I've yet to make a move. I'm close to a move in the Charlotte game, but I've not made a move on anything. Have you made a move on any of these games thus far?
So I just put the New Orleans Pelicans in my pocket. I got a +1.5, and as I did that, I see that there's 2s popping up. And I don't know what the injury is that they're betting. I don't care if Griffin plays. I don't care if Holiday doesn't. They're betting some injury or other. That's not concerning to me. New Orleans is better of the 2 teams. +1.5 is in my pocket, and I haven't pulled yet, but I'm definitely very close to pulling on the Magic and Kings under. The total 210, the current number. Orlando's an under machine right now. And it's not like Sacramento is a team that's controlling pace against their opponent. They play to the level that their opponent wants to play. So that under really stood out to me. I haven't pulled yet, but I may well bet that when we get off the air.
Interesting. What do you think about who dictates the pace? Do you think it's the better team? Do you think it's the home team? Because pace last 5, Sacramento Kings are the fastest team in the association. 106.8 possessions a game is very fast. Who do you think? Do you think the Orlando Magic dictate the pace, and that's just the way they? Yeah.
I mean, have you found a team that can make the Magic run? Not many. New Orleans did it once or twice, but Orlando is what they are. And in general, with the Kings, my feeling has been that Sacramento tends to play to the pace of their opponent as opposed to the other way around, where they're dictating pace. So lean under there. I may well pull the trigger. Like I said, I haven't done it yet, but 210, that just seems high to me. It really does. Orlando's, all they do is cash under 5 in a row, 9 of the last 10. And of the 2 teams, I would expect Orlando to be more likely to control pace than Sacramento. Hence my underling.
And Bagley is expected to be in the lineup in this game. Marvin Bagley back. How do you think that affects the Sacramento Kings?
So from a pace standpoint, I think it's Bagley's all offense, no defense. So for an underplay, the more minutes Bagley gets, the worse it is for my under, in theory, because, he can absolutely fill it up. And from a defensive standpoint, I've seen very little to be impressed with at the NBA level, much like it was at the collegiate level. So Bagley, for me, is more of a totals guy than a side guy. I don't think the Kings get a whole lot better or a whole lot worse when he's in or out of the lineup. But from a total standpoint, he's a guy that I think is an over player, all offense, no defense.
I've got lots of questions about this NBA card, but a quick question from our guy, D. Summers, who's a big supporter of the show, and we will do whatever he asks. He said, ask Teddy, what are the key numbers when betting on NBA?
So that's an excellent question. And the keyest numbers are 1, 2, and 3. More games get decided by 1, 2, or 3 than any other factor. 7 is often regarded as a key number. Because in theory, when a team is down 7, they're not going to foul on that last possession in the NBA. There are teams that don't foul down 6, and there are situations that don't foul down 5, and other times you see a guy foul down 8 with 23 seconds left. So I personally don't think 7 is quite as important. 1s, 2s, and 3s are your key numbers, but it's nothing at all like the NFL where 3s and 7s matter so much more than any other number. The NBA is not that way. 1, 2, and 3 matters, 7 matters. But none of them matter as much as a 3, for example, in the NFL.
Teddy, Thunder and Timberwolves both coming off embarrassing losses. I notice it's not on your card. Do you have a lean in this spot?
Very tempted by OKC. I did not pull the trigger because of the shenanigans that happened the last time these 2 teams met. And, of course, because of the fact that Minnesota is better without Towns or has been playing better without Towns, and now it doesn't look like he's going to play, so the money's come on OKC. But do you remember the last time these two teams met where there was a deal where they got the technical foul because the guy's shirt wasn't tucked in and they got a free throw at the other end and then executed that incredible play with like 0.1 seconds left with the full court pass sent it overtime, and then OKC stole an OT. The bottom line, OKC stole that game. I mean, flat out thievery. And ref induced, but it was partially ref induced. But it was a type of game that I'm certain the T-Wolves will remember because they had it and the OKC stole it. So my lean is Thunder. The way that regular season revenge doesn't mean anything. This is a game Minnesota's going to remember. So lean Thunder. I really do. I mean, they're the better of the two teams, and certainly anyone who's been betting Oklahoma City this year has made money, period. That's not been the case for T-Wolves backers. But the nuance of that last meeting has kept me on the side. And the fact, I mean, the 2.5s or 3s starting to pop up. At 1.5, I probably would have pulled the trigger, even given the situation. 2.5, 3, I'm a little bit more reluctant. Lean OKC.
Yeah, I lean OKC too. I wasn't even thinking about that last game. So interesting that you bring it up. It wasn't even on my radar, but you're absolutely right that it should be mentioned and thought about. Let's move over to Hornets, Blazers, Teddy, Charlotte, Portland. Portland opening up at 9.5 points. Should they be 9.5 points favorites against anybody? This total at 218, now 216. Hornets slowest pace in the NBA right now. Last 5 games, 92.54. If you consider the pace that the Kings are playing at, the Kings are getting 14 more possessions a game than the Hornets right now. That's an alarming number. Blazers pace, last 5, 18th in the NBA. Blazers have lost 8 of 10. They're coming off 122-101 home loss to the Bucks on Saturday night. They're hoping to get Whiteside back, upper respiratory illness. Blazers have won 5 straight, 16 in the past 20 with the Hornets. Hornets have actually lost 11 straight games to Portland. Haven't won since 2008. Sunday, they lose 192 to the Suns. That was their 4th straight loss, 10th in the last 12. And Rozier played awful, 1 for 10 from the field and 1 for 10 from the field and just 5 points after 5 straight 20-point efforts. I did this with Herder. I'm going to go right to a Terry Rozier point prop, I think. I have not bet it yet. But Dwayne Bacon came in and put up 24 points and looked very good. Devontae Graham continues rolling 22-8. Is this going to be a point guard battle between the Blazers' spectacular Lillard and McConnell and what is becoming a spectacular backcourt with Charlotte? How do you break this game down? Is there an angle that you like, Teddy?
There's no part of this game that I want. How do I break this game down? Real easy. I look at Portland, returning. It's been consistent disappointment for Blazers backers. Okay, and there've been various different roles. We're getting to the point now that I don't know, that switch is getting flipped. And I know this is not a team that I trust to lay doubles with right now or ask to win by double-digit margins. Their defensive numbers are atrocious. And, of course, of late, during this, 2-8 run in their last 10, it's funny, when Melo gets there, the defense suddenly, not the defense was great before, but it hasn't been good. So I have no interest in the Blazers in this point spread range.
There's some huge favorites tonight. One that we've already discussed with the Celtics. A lot of guys in the chat on the Celtics. Nobody, it seems like, in the Bulls. Boston opening up at -9.5, now -10. What do you think of the Celtics as a double-digit favorite?
So from a scheduling standpoint, Boston's in a lousy spot tonight. All right, they played 2 sets of back-to-backs last week. They have another set of back-to-backs Wednesday and Thursday, including a matchup against the Bucks. I forget if it's the first or the second of those 2 meetings, but it doesn't matter. They're in a spot where they're playing literally 9 games in 16 days. So when you see the situational spots like that, the scheduling issues like that, you better pay, especially with a smart coach like Brad Stevens, who's going to manage his minutes and going to be well aware of the nuance of the schedule. I don't know that this is the spot that I want to lay a price with Boston. And I'll give Chicago credit. All right, I was making fun of the Bulls. I was betting against the Bulls over and over again, a couple times in a row after the injury to Wendell Carter. Last time out, Luke Cornett played a good game. I saw it with my own eyes, And if they can replace Wendell Carter's minutes and replace them without a significant drop-off, it's not like the Bulls are getting crushed every game. They just can't win. They're coming close. They're hanging around. I lean Chicago here way more than I lean Boston. Look at that Celtics schedule and get the nuance of what this 2-week stretch or 2.5-week stretch looks like for Boston. And it's just not a spot I'm interested in laying the double-digit price, especially with Boston coming off that blowout win over the Pellies.
I find these 3 dogs all appealing: Chicago, Charlotte, and Cleveland. Let's talk about the Cleveland Lakers spot. Lakers at 14-point favorites is total, sitting at 219 and a half. Cavs 6-13 on the road. Lakers 15-4 at home. Cavs pace last 5 26th in the NBA. Lakers pace last 5 12th in the NBA. Cavaliers went on the road and looked pretty good. I mean, sure, the Pistons are bums and they won in overtime, but that was a big win against Denver at altitude. Very impressive. Bayline stepping up amidst this controversy, and now he's just not playing his bench, and his bench is trash. So it's all Sexton, Garland, Ceedi, all Love, and Thompson. Thompson playing very, very well. 35 points to go with 14 boards against the Pistons. The Lakers beat up on OKC without AD and LeBron. AD not expected to be back in the lineup. Kuzma went off for 36, and that was right after LeBron went for 35 and 16 boards a night earlier against Dallas. 2-game road sweep for the Lakers. They've won 8 straight. Rondo hurt his finger. He is questionable for the game, finger injury, when he went for 21 and 12 against OKC. What do you think about this spot, Teddy? Cavs, Lakers.
Rondo hurt his finger from flipping everybody off, huh? I love Rajon Rondo. He's one of a kind. He's fun to watch, and he's just a fun player. Of all the things that I did wrong this weekend, and there were a handful, the most annoyed I was not pulling the trigger on Cleveland as double-digit dogs in Denver, because I saw it and I was like, I talked myself out of it, and it was one of those where I lean, should I, shouldn't I? And I never ended up getting the window with it. And of course, the first score I see in that game, I'm like, oh my God, they're killing them. A wire-to-wire win for the Cavs. There is some bet on right now for Cleveland. And we've been talking about this since November. I'm like, there's going to be a stretch this season where Cleveland is bet on. We're going to make money with this team. Maybe it's right now. This is not a bet on spot for the Lakers. I'll tell you that. Coming off a big win without their stars and a huge win without their stars, and back-to-back huge road wins without AD. And this is an exhale spot at home. I haven't been looking for reasons to bet against the Lakers. And if LA brings it defensively tonight, Cleveland's probably in for a long night. I'm not betting the Cavs off of that win in Denver, but if I had to play the game, it'd be Cleveland before LA. I don't know that the Lakers are going to bring anything resembling their A game. I don't know that Cleveland gets their interest.
Well, I have made no moves on this NBA card. Kair in the house says Hornets on a back-to-back, fade them. Do you think Terry Rozier steps up off of watching Dwayne Bacon look so good last night, going 1 for 10, scoring 5 points? What do you think about a Terry Rozier prop? It's at 19.5 in my book, Teddy.
It'd be a lot of fun to see Rozier and Lillard go off against one another tonight. But it was worth noting Rozier wasn't the only Hornets starter to have a dismal game yesterday. 3 different starters for Charlotte had 1 basket. When you have 3, I think they were combined 3 of 26 or something. And when you have 3 different starters that get you 1 hoop or less, they cover the spread. You know what I mean? When all was said and done, plus 8.5, they lost by 8. They got the number inside the number besides or despite the offensive issues. But I have no problem whatsoever taking a Rozier prop tonight. I really don't. Not even a little bit.
It's gone from 19.5 to 18.5 in my book. So people betting the under there. I may. Oh, and in Repula Gaming saying that Drew Holiday is out today for the Pelicans.
Yeah, that's what that line. I was just about to talk about that. I'm seeing downgraded to doubtful. All the money's coming in on Detroit, and they've been playing okay without Holiday. I'm surprised by this line move. I'm disappointed that I got the worst of the number, but I think New Orleans is going to win the game. So I will take my chances. And
some questions coming into you. I've still made no moves on this NBA card. And I will. Toronto M says, I think so too, just scared to play the Hornets. That's a reply to Torino because the Hornets did cover last night. I've made no moves on this NBA card. The only other game I'm very interested in is the Sixers at the Pacers spot. Pacers is 2-point favorites. This total at 213. I feel like this is a total that I could sneak under. The Sixers are playing bad on the road. Will that change? And the Pacers are a rested group. Without Sabonis, Miles Turner stepped up. And that was something that you mentioned on Friday night, not having any fear that Sabonis is not in the lineup because of Miles Turner on our Friday show, Teddy. What do you think about the Pacers here tonight?
So my initial lean was towards Indiana, but I'm not paying the play. I'm not playing the Pacers unless I am sure that Malcolm Brogdon's in the lineup, and everything I'm reading is questionable. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Game time decision. Brogdon is an impact player in a way, and for the totals as well. Brogdon's an under player. We talk about Bagley for Sacramento being an over player. Brogdon's not. And not that his offense is bad, but his defense is so good. And his defensive intensity absolutely carries over to the rest of his team. And you see the difference in the fourth quarters where Brogdon's in versus the game out. So I got no status on Brogdon, so I can't get involved in the game. It's one of those you're going to have to wait until closer to tip-off to see if we have some updated information. But if Brogdon's in, I got no problem with Indiana. I got no problem with under in that ball game. Although without Embiid, the Sixers, in theory, are supposed to be faster paced and weaker defensively in the low post, which means Philly games, in theory, are supposed to trend over.
And Steve Overlay letting us know that the total's gone over in 5 of Indiana's last 5 games. All right, no move. No move for me at this point on this NBA card, but I will be studying it all afternoon. I'm just not going to force anything here. So no move. Teddy, let's get into college football. I had a fear this morning. I've been waiting as long as I could, hoping that the Sixes would jump on the board. I know that Bovada's been hanging at 6.5 for a long time, but I did pull the trigger at 5.5 when I saw Heritage go down to 4.5. Heritage is now back up to 5, but I did beat it. My book's now at 5. Bet365 is now hanging at 5, and I got it at 5.5. I know that you are backing Clemson here, Teddy, and did you sprinkle some action on the money line as well?
So I did not, and I'll tell you why. When it comes to the final game of the season, it's the same story in the Super Bowl as it is here in the national championship game in college. The amateur bettors come out of the woodwork, the guys that make 2 bets a year, 5 bets a year, whatever it is. And the bets that they tend to make is this team to win or that team to win. So what you see with the money line for this game, and you can see it real clearly on the SBR odds screen, you see money lines that aren't properly correlative with the point spread, because the people that are betting Clemson, or some of the people, enough of the people that are betting Clemson are betting them to win at the plus price as opposed to cover plus the points. And you see it. I'm seeing plus 170, plus 175, plus 180, and I want more. I want 2-1, and I didn't get 2-1, so I haven't pulled the trigger. And the money's going to continue to come on the money line today. Those are many of the Clemson backers, so that number can only go down. It's not going up on game day. So my play on Clemson, they win, great, but my wager's on plus the points, because for these single event games, the money line for the dog is never right. It's never priced right.
Teddy, if you had a bet or a free play on the total, I know you've not made a move on the total. It's all the way down to 67 at Pinnacle, but 5 dimes, Heritage, Intertop's hanging at 68, same with Bovada. What do you think about this total that opened up at 69.5 at Pinnacle?
I can't bet it over. I can't ask for LSU to do what they did against Oklahoma against a real defense. And Clemson, if you ask Dabo how this game's going to play out, he's like, our defense is going to control the flow. So all the sharp money's on the under here. I don't blame the sharp bettor for taking the under. And if it gets to 10 touchdowns, so be it, and you lose that wager. But I could only play this game under. And I haven't. I missed the best of number. I wasn't that close to playing it. And the last thing I want to do is spend tonight going, all right, field goal. All right, no. Oh, damn it. They scored again. You could have a nightmare. Like anyone that had the under in KC Houston yesterday. It's a nightmare. There's no chance. That potential exists tonight, where there's no chance for this under. So it's the only way I can play it, but I'm not playing it. Pass for me.
I've been waiting patiently for the prop bet on Burrow pass yards, and have not got them in my book. They're around. They're available. It's somewhere in the range of 367 to 363. A lot of talk here in the office about going under that because of how Clemson can stymie some of these prolific quarterbacks. What do you think of that total, and do you agree with the idea of going under it?
Yes, I agree with the idea of going under it. It's the highest prop total that I've ever seen for a quarterback, ever. Maybe there was one that I missed, or maybe there's another, But, in Vegas, I'm seeing 365.5. And I'm not going to ask any quarterback to do that against Clemson's defense. Clemson's defense doesn't give up 365.5 passing yards. Doesn't happen. So I could only look at that under. And of all the props, that's the one that stands out the most. It really does. Especially if LSU's playing with a lead. LSU with the lead against Oklahoma, they were chucking it all downfield because Oklahoma couldn't make any plays. If LSU got the lead tonight, don't be surprised if the game plan's just a little bit more conservative than last time. Yes, I like the under.
Yeah, I'm going to wait patiently for that to pop up on my book and then bet it. I did go with Clemson plus 5.5 with my bet, and for show purposes, I did take the Bovada plus 6.5 as it was hanging there and continues to hang there. Teddy, let's talk NFL briefly. We are going to move on to our guy Maxwell Smart and talk college basketball. By the way, did you make any college basketball moves today?
There's only one game that I don't do anything with the extra board, and the Portland State Montana game didn't catch my interest. So no, I did not come close to making a move on the NCAA card. And I enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to work through 150 NCAA games today. We'll spend the next 2.5 months doing that on a day in, day out basis.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Let's talk about these opportunities for us. So my prayers were answered. My voice broke there. That's how much I needed the prayers answered. Ravens were eliminated, which puts me in a nice spot. It's been a bad year in NFL, but I'm in a really nice spot now. Moving into with my Chiefs futures, I wish I'd bet more on them, just $100 each, but plus 800 for the Super Bowl, plus 375 for the conference, and then I have 300 on San Francisco at plus 100 for the conference. And I'm going to be making more moves. We already see this 7.5 going away. It's gone away at Bet365. The Titans are now down to 7, and it's 7 across the board for the Packers. 7-point dogs in both conference finals. What is your expectation of these games, and whom do you like at this point? Have you got to the window with anyone?
So let's talk about this right off the bat. Is that Tennessee plus 7.5? There's still a good handful out there. I'm not convinced they're going to be there by tonight. So if you like the Titans, I would encourage you to grab it plus 7.5, put it in your pocket now. It may be there, okay? But when you're around the key numbers on a Monday morning and you see a 7.5, you're like, will that be there? Won't that be there? You grab it and worry about what to do with it later. So if you like Tennessee, I would grab that 7.5 right now. When it comes to, I have not made a bet on the two conference championship games yet. I haven't even come close, in terms of initial leans, and that's all I am right now is initial leans. I've done, I watched the games this weekend, but I haven't done, and went through the box scores and all that, but I haven't done my full NFL work. But, I'm partially tempted by the Packers. I really am. And I don't know that I get there, but I'm partially tempted by the Packers. And when we look at the matchup, Titans match up well against KC. We've seen that once already this year. And the Chiefs aren't a team I'm in any rush to step in front of. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that game. Lean Green Bay initially.
Lean Green Bay initially. Well, we'll have all week to break down these spots. I am going to go for middles, just small bets. I'm going to go for a small middle with both of the road teams plus the points. And then whatever I bet on the middle, I'm going to put on the Niners to win the Super Bowl in the Green Bay game. So whatever I bet on the middle for Green Bay, I'm going to put on the Niners to win the Super Bowl. And then I'm in pretty good shape. So I'm pretty thankful. I'm also in great shape in this one pool I'm in. because it's a straight-up pool, and I did take the Titans, and I only took the Titans because it was my only chance of winning the pool, not because I was, had made this genius play. It was just I had one chance to win this pool. I knew everybody would be on the Ravens, so I took the Titans, so I'm in nice shape there. Teddy Covers,
That's smart. That's good contest strategy, man. Give yourself credit for moves like that. Contest strategy is not betting strategy. It's totally different. And for you to be smart enough to see prior to the championship game, the conference championship games, I got to make this move because everyone else is going to take the other side. That's the only way I can win. That's good thinking. Give yourself credit, man. That's the way to win contests like this.
Thank you. I could hear the cappers I look up to, like yourself, in my head. And my mom is in this pool as well. And I was telling my mom just that. I was like, Mom, you can't take the Ravens if you want to win this thing. And so I was thinking about you. So I knew that that you guys would be all over that. Teddy, what a treat it is to cap with you, my friend. In the NBA, just one move for Teddy backing the Pelicans. I have stayed off the NBA at this point, but that won't last. I'm interested that Rozier prop has gone down from 19.5 to 18.5. There will be moves that I will be making. Also, I will be on the live line tonight with Maxwell Smart for the college championship game. I'm excited about that. Teddy will be here all week, Monday through Friday. Teddy, thank you so much for joining us, my friend, and can't wait to cap all week with you.
The pleasure's all mine, Jimmy. Enjoy the game tonight, guys. The games is plural, but enjoy the game. Don't go crazy. It's just one game. You guys know that. You don't need me to tell you. Enjoy. We'll talk tomorrow. Cheers.
There he is, Teddy Covers. Again, don't go crazy. That was in my head when I made the bet this morning. I was like, God, it's a national champion. Should I bet more? And I was like, I'd bet 2 units for college football because I was only betting 100 a game all year. So I made it 200. Just very calm, cool, and collected. All right, let's bring in our guy, Maxwell Smart, coming to us live from Toronto, Ontario. Max, how are you doing on this Monday morning?
I'm doing good, Jim. Just had to make sure that I was on mute and that I turned the mute off this time. And, of course, I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy to be here with the low baggers. And I'm hoping to turn my week around and really shoot myself up with some solid picks and laying off some of the more questionable spots.
Well, let's get after it. Let's go over to NCAA football here, NCAA basketball here. Speaking of NCAA football, I'm going to be on live line with you, and I know that you'll be making major moves on this basketball card, but are you doing anything on the NCAA football game?
No, I will be dressing up in all of my Alabama attire. I will wrap myself in the Alabama flag, and I will just be cheering Roll Tide Roll the whole game.
As you should. As you should. Viper MB says Max looks like an 80s porn star. Let's get to work with this 80s porn star right now. Max, did you make any official plays on your Twitter account?
Yes, it did. I made about 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Well, let's get after them right now. What is your favorite look of the 4 plays that you've put out while I'm grabbing your action?
All right, so the first play that I think that we should talk about first is the Grambling State versus Alcorn State game. Well, I wrote down a couple key pieces of information that I definitely want to pass along. And let's talk about this Grambling team for a minute. This is a Grambling team that is deep. They play 7 guys at least 18-plus minutes a game. This is a team that wins with defense. They guard the three-point line. They get on the offensive glass. They do a good job of protecting the rim, and they limit their opponent's free throw attempts and trips to the line. I think that with Trayvon Bunch, this is a guy that's going to give you 2.1 blocks a game. He's going to give you close to 10 rebounds on any given night. He's a good rim protector. You have Devontae Jackson and Cam Christian now as your slick 3 or 4 position players. So Devontae Jackson, obviously, he's the leading scorer for this team. But I think that Cam Christian coming into the lineup and being a new addition at the end of first semester, I think that is going to be the difference in this game. I think that Alcorn State definitely have to respect the fact that this is a team that makes their free throws. They hit a good percentage of the three-point shots. But I think that tonight they're going up against a change in tempo. Alcorn wants to get up and down the floor. Grambling wants to slow it down. Grambling wants to keep this game in the low 130s. I think that they're going to have their pace. They're going to have their tempo in this game. And if Deshaun Andrews can't cut down on his turnovers, he was responsible for about 8 points off those turnovers in their last loss against Jackson State. I think that this is an Alcorn State team that has looked good in certain spots, but against one of the best teams in the SWAC and Grambling, I'm not taking them as a home dog.
There we have it. Max's first action is in. Grambling State -3. They're now at -3.5 right now. What do you think of the taint play of the day from our Matt Randall going over this total, over 141? Wow, he got 141. It's now up to 145.5. What do you think of it? Oh, sorry. No, it's exactly at 141. Sorry, I was going to compensate. It is actually sitting right there at 141. What do you think of Matt going over this total?
Yeah, I think that if Alcorn State's getting their pace and their tempo in the game, then it can sneak over. I would have liked the line. I would have liked the total to be set in the 135 to 138 range. Then I would be interested in taking the over. But at 141, there was no edge for me to bet and to make official for the show. So if I look into the numbers a little harder, a little deeper, and then run my model again, then I think maybe I can come to a consensus, but at this point I have not. But anybody that's tailing Matt Randall knows what Matt Randall does. The taint hits, and everybody loves taint.
Okay. Portland State at Montana is your next look. You back Portland State +7. It opened at 6, now at 7. Why are you on Portland State here?
Yeah, this is a spot for Portland State that I think that I'm not looking and expecting them to win the game. I'm expecting them to be competitive. And I'm also waiting on some information that I've asked around for about Matt Hauser. Matt Hauser didn't play in the last game for the Vikings. I think that he's been a real stabilizing force when it comes to making a bucket when you need one, and takes a lot of offensive pressure off Holland Woods Jr. I think Holland Woods obviously is leading this team with 18 points, shooting 81% from the free throw line, but he's the only one shooting over 60%. Everybody else is literally a weakness and a critical weakness at the line. So if they were a favorite and I was laying points with them, I'd be a little worried about laying the points. But knowing that they're going to have to hoist up threes to keep this game close and keep it within the number, I have a little more faith. I like what Sal Nuhu is doing for Portland State down low. He's averaging 9 and 6, a really good rim protector when he can stay on the floor. This is a Portland State team that I have to point out has a second half weakness where they start strong and they weaken as the game goes on. Every time I make a bet, guys, I'm looking at the way that I can lose the bet, and I'm looking at where my edge is. So if you don't see both sides of the coin, you're walking in half blind. I think that Portland State's going to be able to get on the glass tonight. They're going to be able to keep Montana off the free throw line, and they're going to be able to contain Derek Carter-Hollinger, who went off in his last game. This is a guy that doesn't take a lot of three-point shots, but he's really efficient with the shots that he's getting. Jared Samuelson coming off the bench, it's sort of the same deal. You got to contain these two guys, and I think that if you have to only rely on Kendall Manuel and Saeed Pridgett to score the basketball, you have a much better opportunity to stay in this game. I think Portland State hangs around, and it could be a backdoor cover and it could be an ass clencher, but Portland State gets it done tonight for us.
Portland State +7, Max's next look. Right after that, North Carolina Central going up against Maryland Eastern Shore. North Carolina Central opening up at -6.5. Still there, bookmaker 7 everywhere else. You got in at 7 at -110. Why are you backing NCCU?
Yeah, this definitely by the numbers is not a strong spot if you look at it from a statistical perspective, but my created line had a significant enough edge that I was willing to lay this number with North Carolina Central on the road. Let's be frank, North Carolina Central struggles to rebound the basketball. It's one of their major weaknesses, and that is the way that they can get heavily exploited tonight. I think that this is a team that we have to keep in mind is 0-11 on the road, and I think that we have to just put that aside. This is a Maryland Eastern Shore team that is one of the weakest teams in the nation. We've seen them play. We've seen them play a competitive game. But I think that tonight in this matchup, even though there's no Randy Miller Jr. for NCCU, I think that they're going to be able to right the ship and take care of business, unlike their game against Delaware State. I think that with Jabri Blunt averaging 19 points a game, you're going to have a lot more reliance on Jordan Perkins and Ty Graves. Both these guys do a little things differently. Jordan Perkins is more efficient from the field. Ty Graves is good to get to the line where he shoots 81% from the free throw line. This is a team that definitely has to continue their dominance against UMES. They've won 10 in a row versus them. Limit the 17 turnovers that you're committing a game. Pressure ball handlers and rebound the ball better. And I think that they're able to take care of business and cover the 7 points.
There you have it, 7 points for NCCU. Next up is an afternoon game. For those of you who are bored at work on a Monday afternoon, Max has the tonic. Jackson State at a pick'em. Southern University opened up at -1.5. Now Jackson State is the favorite at either pick'em -1 or -1.5. This total sits at 133. Max, why are you on Jackson State here?
Yeah, I think that Jackson State definitely is an offensive team on the rise. I think that the addition of Roland Griffin coming over from Iona after he beat up one of the assistant coaches has been a nice offensive burst and boost to this team. He's coming off a 27-point game. I think that the combination of him and Tristan Jarrett is a very efficient offensive scoring combination in the SWAC, and I think that as long as Jackson State limits turnovers, protects the rim, and forces their own turnovers, which they can do about 15 to 17 a game, I think that they're going to be able to win this game on Southern's home floor in the afternoon. Southern definitely will try and get to the free throw line, and with guys like Micah Bradford, the Valpo transfer, I think that they're going to have opportunities to. I think that in the end, Jackson State's going to be able to rebound the ball better. I think that Jonas James is going to be able to come off the bench, and he's going to be able to hit some threes. I think that with Jonas James also, you have a very good ball distributor. You just got to limit the turnovers because he had 7 turnovers last game and 7 assists in his last game and 4 turnovers. So you can't have 4 turnovers. That's just going to crucify us. But my numbers really like Jackson State at 1.5 to pick them to +1.5. So regardless of what the number is right now, I still suggest jumping on it. And if you don't like losing the 1.5 of value off the line that I got, or 3 points off the opening line, then I suggest hitting the money line.
Next up for Max is a total. Morgan State, Bethune-Cookman. This total opened up at 150. It's now down to 148 at Pinnacle and a couple other books, Bovada as well. 148.5 at the others. You got in at 149.5, Max. Why are you on the under here?
Yeah, this is a line that I actually forgot to bet when it opened at 152 and then went to 151. I'm glad that I got in at 149.5, but I have seen reverse line movement because it was as low as 147 at one point this morning. I think that with this Morgan State team, I think that we're seeing a real improved team, a team that can really go on the road, a team that can really stifle you and really has efficient offensive weapons. I think that Isaiah Burke with his 22 three-point makes coming off the bench or starting is beneficial to this team. I think that with Stanley Davis and Troy Baxter Jr., you have solid upperclassmen that hit their free throws, that can give you double-digit points, but I think that it's going to definitely favor both these teams to try and limit possessions, not to get in an up and down game. Joe French and Malik Maitland coming off the bench at 5'9", he's definitely a change of pace, and he can give Morgan State's defense a lot of trouble. I think that both these teams hit their free throws. They don't make a lot of 3 points a game. They're low volume field goal attempts. They defend the glass. And I think that a lot of their games have been going over, and I think that it's time to get off that train. I think tonight that they surprise the betting market, and as long as they limit fouling, I think that this game stays under.
Max, one of Lamont Williams' looks on a 2-team parlay is Loyola, Maryland. That's the first game that pops off at 7 p.m. Eastern, Boston University at Loyola, Maryland. It opened at 5 dimes at a pick'em, and Boston University's all the way to 4-point favorites, 3.5 a bookmaker. I have moved my opener over to 5 dimes. I was on Pinnacle, and Max bang on with that opener at Morgan State, Bethune-Cookman, 152 at 5 dimes. Max, what do you think of our guy Lamont Williams backing Loyola, Maryland here, and are you making a move on this game?
As long as he knows that Andrew Kostecka and Cam Spencer are most likely not playing, then all right. But I'm on the other side of that spot. I took Boston University. I think that with Boston University, you have definitely solid weapons in Javonte McCoy, Walter White, and Max Mahoney. I think that when you look at this Loyola Maryland team, do you want to be relying on Jalen Andrews and Isaiah Hart? I don't think so. Andrew Kostecka is a 20-point-per-game scorer. Cam Spencer is a very good three-point shooter and a great floor general and ball distributor. You're taking away a lot of weapons that make Loyola Maryland have a lot of value. And if they don't play, it's just a spot that I refuse to take them on. I think that BU definitely comes out in the first half. That's going to be the play that I'm going to make official for the show if I can get 2 points. And I think that with Boston University, they're a team that they do struggle from the free throw line when it matters. But I definitely think that Loyola Maryland has the same kind of issues. When you look at Kavon Scott and Golden Dyke, they're bruisers. They're going to get on the glass. They're going to get high percentage looks at the basket. But if you put them on the line and you hack them, I think that you're going to do better off than most teams, and most times employing that strategy. I think BU takes care of this game first half and full game, but for the show purposes, I'm only going to make first half an official play.
-2 at -108 is the best line we can give you at Pinnacle. Next up, North Carolina A&T, Delaware State. Sorry, I'm on first half. Let's move over to full game spreads and totals here. We're going to touch on each and every one of these cards on this small NBA or small college basketball card. North Carolina A&T, Delaware State max. North Carolina A&T opening up at -6. That's where they stand right now. Although Pinnacle has moved to 5.5. This total's gone up a half point or a point from its opener at 146.5. Any move to make here?
Yeah, this is a spot where you got to look at Delaware State. I think that Delaware State, with their good ball distribution, this is a team that has two guys that can give you at least 3 to 4 assists a game. I think that with John Crosby and John Stansbury, you got two decent offensive weapons that can really score the basketball at will. They play at a good tempo. They have good depth scoring, and they're good at the free throw line. I think that they're definitely going to be battling a team in North Carolina A&T that is very different tempo-wise and stylistic-wise. They rely on a guy like Ronald Jackson to really be a bruiser down low, get to the free throw line, score high percentage buckets, and own the glass. And they have solid point guard play from Cam Langley, who's averaging 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 7 points. I think that it comes down to what kind of offensive production you get from 6-foot guard Fred Cleveland Jr. And I think that defense is going to win this game. I think that if they can guard the 3-point line against Delaware State, they'll win this game. I just don't think that they're going to win this game by more than 6 points. So North Carolina A&T definitely wants to be a volume free throw shooting team, but I think that Delaware State is able to speed up the tempo and really keep them on their heels where it takes them out of their game tonight. I look at Delaware State again as a home dog, trying to learn my lesson from the North Carolina Central defeat.
Matt Randall loving the under in this spot. Next up, South Carolina State, Howard. South Carolina State opening up at -5. That's where they stand now. This total at 147 down to 146 max. SC State, Howard, move to make here?
Yeah, I think that you got to look at Howard as a dog. I think that with this Howard team, you do have some decent three-point threats in Nate Garvey and Wayne Bristol Jr. The question is, what kind of production you can get from Charles Williams on a night-to-night basis from the perimeter? We know that he can drive. We know he can get to the bucket, but is he going to make free throws? And is his three-point shot going to be on? I think that both these teams are slow starters. Both these teams play good three-point defense. You can expect 13 to 15 turnovers because both teams do a good job of pressuring ball handlers. And from a percentage perspective, both teams are three-point shooting weak. I think that with the Manny Applewhite, you definitely have a guy that can give you a high production game, but it's going to really come down to Rayshawn Neal and his distribution skills, and Ian Kennard from the three-point line where he shoots 47%. I'm looking at this game as a first half underplay, but I'd also be leaning to the dog in Howard.
Leaning towards the dog in Howard. That Jackson State game is on at 4 p.m. Eastern, Russ. Jackson State.
So, Jim.
Yeah.
First half under, official play.
Oh, sorry, my fault. First half under. Let's grab it right now. My fault.
69 minus 114.
All right. First half under 69 at -114. Let's grab that right now. My fault, Max. Howard under, first half under 69. -114. Okay, Max, let's keep rolling along. Now we have Coppin State, Florida A&M, Max. And interestingly enough, Lamont Williams, this is one of his parlays. He's backing Florida A&M. 5 times open, Florida A&M at -5. Now they're at 3.5. What do you think of this spot? Is there a move to make?
Yeah, this is definitely a real interesting spot because you have a Coppin State team that doesn't have Kamar McKnight in the lineup. I think that we've seen in recent performances that they have not adapted. I think that Kobe Thomas from personal, individual perspective, he's a fantastic player. I'd love to see him on a team that isn't in the MEAC. But with DeJuan Clayton and Kobe Thomas and Andrew Robinson, you definitely have guys that can get you double digits. They can get to the free throw line. But this is a team that is a volume three-point shooting team. I think that's where they're going to have problems. They're weak on the glass. They do a good job of protecting the rim with Brandon Medley Bacon, the 7-footer. But this is FAMU team that I just think that's on the rise when it comes to an opponent that is very predictable and really reliant on one part of their offensive arsenal. I think that FAMU is going to guard the three-point line. So far in the 3 games in conference, they've only allowed teams to shoot 22% from there. I think that they have to limit their fouling. They cannot put teams on the line 20 times a game, dominate the offensive glass, and you got to make better decisions with the basketball and don't travel. I watch a lot of FAMU on ESPN Plus, and these guys love to travel. So don't travel. Dribble the basketball like you were taught when you're 5 years old. Force ball handlers into mistake, and let MJ Randolph and Rod Melton Jr. get you their offense. Don't turn this into a free throw contest. And I think that DJ Jones and Evan Desir averaging a combined 11.6 rebounds is going to get the win, get the cover. And I look towards the under at 145 or 146.
We're just going to do a quick battery change here. While we're doing that battery change, Arkansas Pine Bluff up against Alabama State. Arkansas Pine Bluff opening up at 6.5-point dogs. That's where they stand right now in the total at 124.5 or 125. Are you making a move here?
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that you got to look at the total. This is an Alabama State team and an Arkansas Pine Bluff team that by the numbers don't really wow you and don't even hit within 10 points of this number. But I think that we're going to see Arkansas Pine Bluff really learn how to play without Sean Doss. They've struggled as of yet. You would have thought that 12 games without him would have been enough. But I got to say that maybe they'll have one more. I think that this is a team that we've really seen struggle from the three-point line and make free throws. But I do think that they are going to be able to improve on that because they are at the bottom of the barrel. But more so, I think that Alabama State is the play in this game. I think that Alabama State first half is a better look, in my opinion. I think that they play better defense. I think that with Toby Iwoshu averaging 14 and 3, 5.9 rebounds, and shooting 51% from the field, that's a good offensive starting weapon. I think that the three-point shot is going to be beneficial tonight where they shoot 38%. I think that they got to dominate the offensive glass, have good ball distribution, keep the turnovers down, and attack the rim. Don't be afraid to drive in. Don't fall in love with the three-point line. I do think and want to point out that DJ Heath and Jacoby Ross are the three-point threats, but these are guys that are complementary pieces and are best when they're shooting open and not when you need to make a bucket. So Alabama State first half for me is the play, and I'll see about adding full game.
Alabama State minus 3.5 at minus 110. That is market. Alabama State minus 3.5 at minus 110. Market. And then the final game on the card before we get to the play of the day, Max, is Mississippi Valley State against Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M opening up at minus 7.5. Minus 7.5. That's where they stand, although Pinnacle has brought it down to 7. Are you making a move here? Mississippi Valley State, Alabama A&M.
Yes, I am, Jim. I am making a play. I'm going to be making a play on the first half on Alabama A&M. I'm liking this team from a perspective of, well, they're going up against a team that shoots the three a lot. They attempt about 39 a game and make 10 of them. But this is a team that plays fantastic three-point defense. They don't allow teams to shoot more than 20%. This is a team that gets to the free throw line. This is a team that doesn't put their opponents on the free throw line. Offensive rebounding is always critical. I think that they have the size. I think that they're going to be able to get some extra second chance opportunities, and as long as they keep the turnovers down, which they've done a great job as of recently, not having a game where they've given up more than 10, I think that's going to be the difference in the game. I think that when you look at Alabama A&M, this is a team that ordinarily you would not want to be taking them at this number, but versus this opponent and in this situation, it's hard for me to get off of it. So Alabama first half will be the play that I'm on, and I'll have to look for something live in case I want to play full game.
Oh, that's my fault. I was giving you Alabama A&M's first half numbers there at -7.5. My fault. They're 14-point favorites.
Oh, I was hearing 13 and 14. So
okay, cool. First half -7. It's a juicy spot here if you want 7. It's -122 or 7.5 at -110. Max, what do you want?
I'll take the -110.
All right, Alabama A&M first half -7.5 at -110. And Max, we come to the play of the day, and you're getting a lot of love for that stash on our chat, Max. A lot of love. What is the play of the day, my friend?
Yeah, the play of the day is not going to be a sexy play. It's probably going to be an ass clencher, but I'm going Boston University, Loyola, Maryland, under 144. I think that watching that game against Lafayette, I did see that Lafayette and Loyola, Maryland were able to have a high-scoring first half, but it really died down once the teams got into crunch time, started having to lock down on defense, and I think that Boston University is just not going to suit them to get into a game where you're in the 70s. I think that they got to keep this game in the 65 to 60 range, and the uglier and dirtier it is, the better. And I'm going to take the under full game.
Play of the day is in. It is the Boston Loyola under. Boston under 144 at -106. And that is available at Pinnacle, the -106, 4 cents reduced juice at that book. And one bookmakers brought down to 143.5. Max, can the Washington Huskies get to the tournament without Quad Green after the academic ineligibility?
I think that they can get to the tournament. I am now a little worried about what they can do in the tournament. I think that we've seen them really struggle in late game situations with ball handling. And what's the theme of the show today? Turnovers and goddamn traveling. I don't understand what's with half these big men. I don't understand what's with these guards. I don't know if these coaches teach their players how to pivot and keep your foot on the ground. I don't know if they know the definition of pivoting, but it's aggravating, and Washington beat themselves against California with it. So it's definitely tense times in Husky Nation. But I got to trust Mike Hopkins still has 2 months to get this team ready for the tournament and figure out what he's going to do at the point guard position. And I got to trust that.
He is eligible to come back for the first round of the tournament. You don't see that happening?
Listen, until he's ruled eligible and he's back in the lineup and he's practicing with the team, I'm not going to assume that he's in. I don't trust the NCAA to do what they say, and we've seen already how they've conducted themselves with guys like Rasheem Dunn on St. John's, that they play everything differently. So until I see him get ruled back in, I'm not going to hold my hopes in.
I heard that he was going to continue practicing all year with them. Is that not true?
I don't know that for a fact. So if he is, that's power to him, but at this point, I can't really cap him for the rest of the season or the tournament, assuming that he's going to get back in there.
I hear you, and thank you for that information. Max got us on some live futures. That was one of them right there. We also have Maryland at 33-1. There we have it. Max, play of the day, Boston, Loyola, Maryland, under 144 at -106. Then we have Grambling State -3, Portland State +7, NCCU -7, Jackson State at a pick 'em, Bethune-Cookman under 149.5, Boston University -2. Oh, that's a first half play, isn't it? Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Boston first half -2. Howard first half under 69. Alabama State -3.5 at -110. Is that a first half play? No.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, my fault. Sorry, a little slow here. Alabama A&M first half -7.5. AM plus money coming in. Oh, wow. Sorry, no, that's Russ B. Russ B and AM plus money on the same look with Maccabi Tel Aviv at -130. Max, We have the big live line tonight, National Championship. I've missed working with you guys. I'm looking forward to be back in action with you. Follow Max on Twitter at Maxwell Smart 420. Follow this man on Twitter. Max, any final words for these great cappers in the chat who are very enamored with that mustache of yours?
Well, I'm glad you guys like the mustache. It will be on the live line. It is a request of the Sports Keg CEO. And listen, the only thing I have to say in conclusion is, listen, guys, I'm not going to win every bet. I'm going to do my best every day. And all that I ask of you and all that Jim needs from you is to go to www.sbrvideo.com/thebag and hit the link, guys. It's in the video description. Let everybody know at SBR how much you guys like the show, how much you care about the show. Not that I don't already know that, but we got to do it with the metrics. So hit that link in the description, and let's keep on rocking.
You are a good man, Max. I'd like you to stick around here to give us a leche on our way out of here. I have not made a move on NBA or NCAA basketball, but I will be with Max on the live line, and we'll still be studying it as we move throughout the day. I have made moves in NHL. I'm on the under 6 in Islanders Rangers. I'm on the Blues at -1.5, and we have been told that Binnington will not be between the pipes for the St. Louis Blues. Let's just take a quick look at what's happened with that after the announcement of Jake Allen. Nothing. So no market move there. I still think they step on the foot of the throat of the Ducks. And then I'm on Clemson, +5.5. Got it on the show for +6.5 and Bovada bet at +5.5. That is our action. We have no show without these great cappers on the chair. Thank you guys so much. Deer Slayer Ski says, can't wait for Jimmy on the live line. Hope he has a bottle in standby. Oh yeah, bottle is ready to go. Alex Ramirez, Steve Overlay, Deer Slayer Ski, Chris Brady, not applicable, Arthur Mead, Junior Reese, Q Wilson, Russ B, Lance LaRose, Farshad Asami, Mark Unca first, Steve Overlay, Mr. Gokster. What a great, great group. Can't do this without you guys. Josh Stanley, Yenny Toon, Brent Hunt. Thank you guys for watching. Max, will you take us home with a leche, my friend?
For my handlebar mustache, to you guys at home, leche, a los bookmakers.